Hi everybody. Tomorrow I begin a road trip from Virginia Beach, Virginia to Seattle, Washington, the Emerald City. It's exciting for me because I haven't been through many of the states I'll be traveling through. I'll begin by going to Durham, North Carolina, my hometown, and on to Charleston, South Carolina. And from there I'll go to Selma, Alabama and Montgomery, Alabama, having never been in Alabama before. On to New Orleans, through Dallas, Texas, up through Tulia, yes, Tulia, Texas, to Santa Fe, New Mexico, the Grand Canyon, Death Valley, Yosemite, and ending up in Napa Valley before we head through the Great Northwest back to the Emerald City of Seattle, Washington. It's a long way, it's thousands of miles, and many of these states are the red states of the South and the Southwest. So I didn't want to travel alone, and I had a thought. Barack Obama did so poorly in that first presidential debate. I asked him if he'd join me to give him a chance to talk to the folks that he likes so much, and talk in diners and bars and parks, and ask the people what they feel about their issues and give his opinion for a change. So I'm happy to tell you that I have President Obama with me tonight, and we're going to discuss a few of these preliminary thoughts that I had before we begin our trip tomorrow. Mr. President, I'm so happy that you're here joining me, and I wanted to ask you, one of our first stops will be Kiowa Island, right off the coast of Charleston, South Carolina. Now, Kiowa is occupied by the 1%. And in the debate, you didn't mention the 47%, much less the 99 other percentage of people that I'm part of. So I was wondering if you had any comments, knowing that we'll be going to an island occupied only by 1% of the population. Alrighty then. Okay, well, Mr. President, after Charleston, we'll be going to Selma, Alabama. And I wanted to go there because I wanted to pay my respects to the beginnings of the Civil Rights Movement, where it all happened. I haven't been there. And it occurred to me that as a white woman traveling with a black man, albeit the president, do you think we'll run into any problems in the South? Okay, moving on. Our next stop will be New Orleans, and we'll be looking at the rebuild from the devastation of Hurricane Katrina and talking to people who lived through that. And Mr. President, the Republicans always mention that big government is bad, and that was a problem that caused so much of the heartache and devastation, was that the government wasn't in there to help these people. And I was wondering if you had any thoughts about government and the role they play in providing a safety net for our population. Okay, Mr. President, well, maybe at least I can get you to go down to Bourbon Street and drink a hurricane with me. After that, we'll be going through Texas, all those gerrymandered counties, up to Tulia, Texas, and I have a really serious issue I wanted to ask you about tonight, racism. I have this feeling that many of the problems that you have as our president and people's view of you stems from an underlying racism that's never discussed by anyone. And as we go through little towns in the West like Tulia, Texas, do you have any thoughts about your view and what you think about racism today and if it exists the way I fear? Okay, Mr. President, moving on, we're going to end up going and seeing beautiful areas of our country I know you'll enjoy, but we'll be going through New Mexico, Arizona. We'll be talking and looking for the Pueblo Indians. We'll be talking to people about their fears about illegal aliens. And I got to tell you, I have a problem with the term illegal aliens. It sounds like people from Mars who weren't invited. So I was wondering, what are your thoughts about these illegal aliens and the whole idea of building a giant wall around our southern border with Mexico. Well, Mr. President, we'll still have an opportunity to talk about these issues. When we get to Napa Valley, we'll sit down at one of the wineries, we'll break out some wine and discuss our trip. So I just want to tell all of you, you can watch my adventure on Facebook or on my public blog, Smiley Face Publishing Online, and you can follow Barack Obama and me as we travel across talking to people throughout the 3/4 of our perimeter of our country until we get to Oz. And I'm telling you, going to Oz and the Emerald City of Seattle makes me think of the Cowardly Lion. And hopefully, Mr. President, you'll find a little courage to speak out when we actually start our journey tomorrow. So watch us and join us as much as you can through our posts on Facebook and my blog. Thanks. Come on, Barack. We've got some miles to travel. Bye.